welcome to Silver and Black Films presents Matching Up with the Broncos.
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
I was supposed to post this video Thursday, and I do apologize, but the Antonio Brown situation got everything twisted up. The media said he would get suspended, then he didn't and was supposed to play Monday. Next thing you know, Brown doesn't run a report because his contract guarantees were voided, and so the Raiders had to cut him. Good riddance. I know I posted a video a while ago about him being worth it, and he was at the time. But who could have predicted all this would happen once the helmet issue was resolved? So needless to say, I no longer think he's worth it, and I'm glad he's not on the team anymore. He would have been a big part of this video because he would have had one of the more intriguing matchups Monday night. But he's no longer a Raider, and it looks like he's going to be with the New England Patriots pretty soon. I'm starting to wonder if he kicked and screamed his way to New England because he never wanted to be a Raider. Either way, the Raiders must move on, as they have other individual matchups they must win if they want to come out victorious on Monday night. The Broncos don't really have anybody scary on their interior defensive line. Denzel Good was the right guard in place of an injured Gabe Jackson. Then there was center Rodney Hudson, and not so good that year Kelechi Osemele at left guard. And they handled him, allowing the Raiders to run the ball last year in Week 16. So I'm not worried about Good and Jordan Devey replacing the again injured Gabe Jackson and the suspended Richie Incognito. The Raiders showed they can get outside on the Broncos too, and that was with the number 25 ranked rushing attack in the NFL. This year, the Raiders figured to run the ball much better because they had first round pick Josh Jacobs. Jacobs didn't see much preseason action, but he showed what he had during the preseason action he saw. And the Raiders beefed up at the right tackle position with Trent Brown. I've never seen Khalil Mack get handled the way Brown handled him. Watch this as Brown is circled in silver and Mack is circled in black. Oh! And Mack gets up off the turf. Here, he's going to remove Mack from the gap. If he does that to Mack, what's he going to do to Von Miller? I'm just saying. And of course, left tackle Colt Miller will be matched up on fellow 2018 first round pick Bradley Chubb. Marshawn Lynch found some running room going his way last year. He dealt with Von Miller just fine when he was lined up over him as well. But the Raiders will need to pass, and that means they need to protect quarterback Derek Carr. If they're able to do so, Carr will produce. He'll throw dimes just like that. But Broncos outside linebacker Von Miller stands in the way of that. He had 2 sacks in their Week 2 matchup last year, and the Broncos won the game 20-19. In their Week 16 matchup, Miller only had a couple of pressures with no sacks, and the Raiders won that game 27-14. There are no coincidences there. And he will have to deal with Brown most of the time, as he likes to line up on the right side. Here, Brown is lined up on the left side due to injury, and he doesn't have any problems with Mac over there. Mac doesn't even want that work on this one. When Colton Miller was healthy in week 2 against Bradley Chubb, he did a really good job on him. Chubb had only 1 pressure and 1 tackle in that game. In week 16, injured knee and all, he handled Chubb okay. Chubb ended up with 3 pressures in the game, but he had no sacks. It looks like the Raiders match up pretty well with the Bronco edge rushers, and you know Gruden's going to get Carr out of the pocket, so he has a chance to have a good night Monday night. He'll have his scat back Jalen Richard to throw to. Tight end speedster Darren Waller will be in action. The Raiders would have had a favorable matchup with Chris Harris trying to cover Antonio Brown, but that's not to be. Tyrell Williams is now the Raiders' #1 receiver. Of course, playing with the Chargers, Williams has seen plenty of the Broncos. And he has shown that he doesn't have any problems with Bradley Roby. Here, Roby is playing way off him, then overcompensates and draws a flag for getting there too early. Quarterback Phillip Rivers throws this ball out in front. This is a touchdown. But Roby won't be on Williams. Chris Harris will be, and Williams doesn't have much success against Harris. Williams has to find a way Monday. On defense, the Raiders have to deal with the Broncos running game too. Then rookie running back Philip Lindsay rushed for 114 yards on just 14 carries in their week 2 matchup. And for the most part, he ran right through the middle of that Raider defense. And the only reason why he didn't have over 100 yards in their Week 16 matchup is because his Broncos were behind. But when he carried the ball, he did something with it. But one thing I noticed is those big runs came through the middle when nose tackle Jonathan Hankins wasn't in the game. This is what it looked like when he was in the game. Here, he's going to take on the double team and still make the play. Then he's going to form another wall against the double team. He wasn't able to play very many snaps last year because he was out of shape due to being picked up on September 12th. But he's in shape now, so he'll be on the field more with linebacker Vontaze Burfict behind him, so the run defense will be better. As undersized as he was last year, Arden Key still gave the Bronco offense problems against the run. Here, he's going to stunt inside and still get back outside to make the play. In the passing game, the Raiders will now have to face quarterback Joe Flacco, who led the Baltimore Ravens to a Super Bowl victory after the 2012 season. He looked like a franchise quarterback in that Super Bowl, but since then, he has not. He's been wildly inconsistent, throwing for 110 touchdowns, and 80 interceptions since that Super Bowl run. And that is why they drafted Lamar Jackson last year. Flacco is sure to throw the Raiders some footballs if they pressure him enough, and defensive tackle Maurice Hurst showed he could do that last year, beating guard Connor McGovern and chasing the quarterback. Then he runs right over left tackle Garrett Bowles for a sack. Key didn't have a sack, but he was all over the quarterback as well at the expense of Bowles. He had a few pressures and what should have been 2 sacks in their Week 2 matchup. He came from the right side every once in a while on him too. Bowles had a hard time with Key last year. And he's gotten better, so Bowles is going to have to be much better to block Key. He'll also be a problem on stunts. Watch him draw a hold here on the right side. Then he forces the interception on that side. But he won't have it that easy on that side this year because Jawan James is over there. And he didn't have any problems with Key while with Miami last year. But he won't be on the offensive right side very often. Number 4 overall, Clelin Ferrell will be that guy. So James and Ferrell will also be a matchup to look forward to. On the coverage end of things, the Raiders have to worry about Emmanuel Sanders in the slot. There, he'll be matched up with LaMarcus Joyner, an outstanding slot corner. Courtland Sutton is someone to be concerned with as well. Just ask Nick Nelson. He did his thing on the Raiders in Week 16 last year, but with Garyon Conley on him in Week 2, that was not the case. Conley was all over him like a cheap suit. And he held Sutton to 1 catch for 9 yards. We'll see what happens Monday. The dirty, nasty rivalry between the Raiders and Broncos started in the 70s when the referees took a trip to the Super Bowl away from the Raiders. And it has gotten to the point where the two teams just plain don't like each other. Chains have been snatched. Guys have been roughed up. Punches have even been thrown. So we can look forward to another dogfight. The Broncos have been picked to win this one, especially with the Antonio Brown drama. But there are other players that can affect the outcome of this game. So make sure you don't miss it. Thank you for watching, and see you Tuesday with some post-game thoughts.